3 years ago, I was walking home late at night from my friend's house. It was dark, and at the time, I lived in a rough part of a large city. I've had many sketchy situations that I've gotten myself out of, so I guess I sort of feel invincible, like nothing truly scary could happen to me. When I walk alone, I always stay very alert and aware of my surroundings for my own safety, just in case. About halfway home and roughly 10 minutes to my apartment, I noticed a van started tailing me. I was used to this since in my city it's very common for a young woman in a rough area to get propositioned for sex. It's embarrassing in how desensitizing this was to me. I did my usual and crossed the road so I would be able to walk besides the traffic heading in the opposite direction. I wasn't scared, just annoyed. The van then turned down a side street, then back onto the road I was on, and pulled up to me. At this point, I still wasn't scared. Again, this has happened to me so many times, and it never mattered if I was wearing something that showed more skin, or if I was wearing a winter coat that sit from just below my chin all the way down to my ankles. That area is notorious for that type of activity. I decided to be firm and told the person sternly, "I'm not interested." I noticed there were two men in the van. They looked almost identical, and may have been twins or brothers. Both men had a very, very dark complexion, dark eyes, and short, dark hair. The van didn't move. I was super annoyed and crossed the road again to get away. At this point, I figured this would be enough for them to stop following me. They didn't. They kept circling back every time I crossed the road. I never had to put that much effort into getting a horny pervert to leave me alone, so this was when I started to feel unsafe. They zipped by me at the speed of the traffic was flowing in, and I yelled at them to fuck off. I thought it finally worked. It had been 3 minutes and I haven't seen the van, so I thought I was in the clear. Just in case, I pulled my phone out and was getting ready to call my sister that I lived with. Just then, the van pulled up to me very quickly, and before I could even blink, one of the men jumped out of the van, opened the back door, and approached me very quickly in an aggressive manner, as if he was trying to scoop me up and throw me into the vehicle. The traffic in that area is very inconsistent. It was dead, and I imagined this was what they were waiting for. Just as a man was about to get his hands on me, I tilted my phone and said, "You are being filmed in my live video chat. I gave my friends your license plate number and the police have been notified." I was so scared, but I didn't let that show. I stayed as calm as I could. The man paused, like he was considering if I was bluffing or telling the truth, so I tilted my phone more as if to give the fake audience a better look at him. Then he jumped into the van and they sped off. I have never been the same since that night. I'm afraid of walking alone now, even in the daytime. Stay safe out there. For some background, there's an app called Life360 where you can add your friends and family on, and essentially you can all see each other's current and past locations. You can set alerts to be notified when someone comes home, or leaves, arrives at work, etc. It's really good, and I recommend it to everyone. You can never be too safe nowadays. 2 months ago, I was at home, waiting for my boyfriend to get home. I got an alert at around 18 hours letting me know that he has left work. It usually takes him around 45 minutes to get home. I got up from the sofa and headed upstairs to run myself a bath. My bath was ready in about 10 minutes, and as I was doing other bits as I was waiting for it to cool, when I heard a thud downstairs. I threw the closed bathroom door, assumed that that was the front door. I shouted something along the lines of, "I'm taking a bath." I heard him walking along our very creaky floorboards and assumed that he was in the kitchen grabbing some dinner. It was about 5 minutes later when I picked up my phone and put on some music, and I realized I never got an alert on my phone from Life360 saying my boyfriend arrived home, so I went into the app to make sure I didn't mess about the settings by accident. And I kid you not, my blood ran cold when I saw that my boyfriend had stopped at a patrol station and was still about half an hour away. I could still hear the floorboards creak downstairs very lightly, as if someone was trying to tiptoe but was unable to. I had no idea what to do. I called my boyfriend, he didn't answer, and when I didn't hear his phone ring from downstairs, I freaked out even more. I have horrible anxiety and could feel an attack coming on. I left the bathroom and walked into the bedroom as quietly as possible. I shoved my desk chair under the knob, and as it didn't have a lock. I don't know why, but I didn't think to call the police then. I was so focused on getting out that all my other thoughts and senses just disappeared. I see this lightly now, but this was not the case in the moment. I proceeded to basically Mission Impossible it out of the bedroom. We had a shed under the window, large enough for me to safely get on top of and then jump off from it and into the garden. The only issue was I had to make my way down the garden alley, or I would have to walk past a large window and door where he would be able to see me very clearly. I was so scared. I kept taking peeks into the window and couldn't see anyone. I felt more confident to run past and took one last peek, and he was there, looking right at me, not even a foot away from the window. I can't even begin to explain the sheer fear and horror I felt. Looking him right in the eyes, he had such a cold expression, totally emotionless. I ran, didn't look back. I was so terrified. I remember tripping on my slippers and having to shake them off so I could run faster. There is a long road between us and our neighbors where I was running to. I did make it. Their lights were on and I started to pound on their window. I was let in and they called the police for me as I was inconceivable at the point. I kept telling them to please call my boyfriend as he was driving home too. When the police arrived, they found no one there. We didn't have cameras and neither did my neighbors, so we had no way of telling them or how he entered and left. I later found out he came through a window. The noise I heard, which I assumed was the door, was actually a window that fell downward and shut loudly. After I assumed the man came in, there were some scratches on top of the chair that I put the doorknob, signaling that he tried to push it open, but was unable to. There wasn't much of a case, but I couldn't ID him, as he was wearing a face mask and a beanie. I don't even know what color hair he had, only that he was white, tall, slim, and a man. I only looked right at him for a mere second. If that, nothing was stolen either. We have cameras and a security system now. Never making that mistake ever again.